Welcome to Big Brother Basics, where we break down the basics of Big Brother Canada 3 finale night. My name is Jacob Harple, and joining with me tonight is the always fantastic, always fabulous, but not always dressed up, which she is tonight. And I must say, Keith Guerrero, you are looking fantastic.
And fabulous. Thank you so much for having me. It really means a lot.
Oh, you are so welcome. I mean, just look at you. Look at that face. I'm loving it.
Gotta work it.
Here's
Just like Brittany, just gotta work it.
just like Brittany. Oh man, Keith, it is here. Big Brother Canada 3 is over. What a weird feeling. I haven't digested it just yet.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that we stuck through it. It's all about us. We made it to the end, man. And we didn't need a single competition to make it this far.
We've been here since the very beginning, man. You and me, we've watched each other's backs, and now we are here. We are the final two finale night.
So good, so good.
Oh man, so there's so much to talk about, so much to discuss. First, let's just ask the big question. Sarah Wynn, how do you feel? Are you satisfied, or what was your reaction?
I am satisfied because I do think Sarah deserved to win out of the three. But I called it. I called it at the beginning. I said Sarah's going to win just based on the interviews alone. So I could have saved myself all this time just at the beginning of the season. But no, it was great to watch her play. And I think Sarah's a very deserving winner and great representation, good representative of all the crazy shenanigans that happened all season long.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think Sarah's definitely a good winner. I think she definitely deserved it. She played a great game, and I'm glad to see that she is the last one standing. I really messed up on my winner pick. I picked Jordan. Like, not only did I get the guy that was totally blindsided, that was part of the dumbest move of the season, but then I also picked the guy that gets evicted even after he's evicted.
They just want to pour salt in your wound, Jacob. That's exactly why. Don't ever pick the super
What
fan
a horrible
VP.
pick on my part. I feel so bad. But anyway, besides the point, let's get started. Really, really like the competitions. I think they stuck to that post-apocalyptic steampunk theme.
Mhm.
So the first HOHs, they all have like these giant containers of sand, and it's pouring out, and they got to get to the bottom with a bucket and fill it up with the sand that's pouring out, run it back up the stairs, and then pour it in. And whoever lasts the longest is the winner of the first part of the HOH. So it's kind of like a physical endurance. I love the theme. It was not something we haven't really seen before. And so Sarah, I was surprised to see Sarah give out so early. She definitely, I guess, wasn't able to work those stairs, and eventually the sand caught up to her. We also saw Ashley more or less quit. People are saying that she's quit it. She quit the first part. I don't think I'm not that harsh on her. Basically, what happens is, it's down to her and Godfrey, and her body is so sore she cannot keep going, and so she essentially throws in the towel and lets the rest of the sand pour out of her, I guess, hourglass, if that's what we want to call it. It was something like that. Do you think you can hold that against Ashley? Do you think, because it seems like people were definitely really negative about her essentially quitting. Would you count that as a quit?
I don't think so. Like, you have to understand the physical stress that your body goes through in a competition like that. And, there was still a glimmer of hope. It wasn't going to be completely Godfrey's HOH range. You could still look forward to part two. And Sarah's not intimidating to go against in a competition. So maybe she was just too tired. And she's like, I think Godfrey's going to take me anyway. I'll give him part one. I'll try to take out Sarah part two and have a guaranteed shot of one of us winning in part three.
I kind of see it as kind of just like a regular endurance, like if your body can't go and you just quit. I kind of see it as the same thing with Ashley. So I don't know. My reaction when she fell out of the first part wasn't like, oh, I can't believe she quit. So I don't know. But anyway, Godfrey busts out the first part of the HOH, and I am thinking, wow, like, this is crazy. Can this guy pull it through? Second part of the HOH, we've got Ashley and Sarah. Were you surprised that Ashley was just totally destroyed Sarah in this competition?
Oh, goodness. 4 minutes to 20 minutes. That was really insane to see. It was cool. Because like Ashley got it on her first try. She just like, boom, got it, finished, done. And yeah, it was really impressive to see. I guess Ashley did pay attention to things that happened inside the house and not completely on Zach the whole time. But yeah, it was great to see that Ashley is still a competition beast, and it proves why she earned her spot in the final three. But Sarah didn't need to win that competition, did she?
No, she didn't. She didn't. And that's definitely kind of what I want to talk about, because we get like this packaged of clips of Sarah essentially talking to Ashley and then talking to Godfrey, trying to, I guess, make a deal or try to persuade them to take her to the end. Do you think that ultimately affected Godfrey's decision when it came down to it?
No, I don't think so. I think Godfrey's decision was solely based on his discretion and who he thought he might have a better chance at winning. And you know what? If you bring somebody who is part of the Diapers Alliance, like Ashley was, and they are just friends on jury, those are like 4 or 5 guaranteed votes for Ashley to win. And so I think that him picking Sarah is actually the smarter decision, despite, you know, Ashley not really having a strategic element to her game. She definitely had friends on jury, and that's not something you want to deal with at the final two. So yeah, I think Godfrey made the right call.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be the big topic of the night, I think, is how would Godfrey have had a best Ashley? Were you surprised when Godfrey evicted Ashley?
I was. I really thought he was going to evict Sarah. I think, like, especially after winning the final 2 HOH, or like part 2 of the final HOH, that's initially my first thought would be to go to the other person that won, be like, you know what, let's just take each other, no strings attached. We can just get rid of Sarah. She played a great game anyway. So that would have been the easy way. But yeah, I also love that Sarah had the capacity to never throw in the towel. She made sure that she was in good with Godfrey, and even did the epic "I will not vote for you" to Ashley. And I honestly don't think Sarah would have followed through with that. She would have voted for whoever she thought played the better game, but it was a card that she could play on Ashley. And I think that Ashley's the type of person that would be receptive to that type of threat. And Ashley wouldn't herself think of using her jury vote as a means to say why she should be taken to the end. So to me, it just showed why Sarah is a better social and strategic player than both of the people that were in the final 3. And I think it proves that she's a deserving winner in the game.
I agree. I think Sarah definitely deserves the win, and I think she definitely hustled during that jury questioning. I think let's talk about that. So I feel like a lot of the questions were going towards Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I feel like the mistake that Godfrey might have made is I don't know how much Godfrey would have been, or I don't know how much Ashley would have been able to sell her game. Sarah, like, Sarah is such a huge super fan. She's probably been making these speeches when she was like 10 years old. Do you feel like Ashley would have put up just as much of a fight as Sarah did if she made it to the final 2?
I do. I don't think we can underestimate Ashley in the final 2 jury questionings, especially with questions coming from Pilar, who was Pilar, I love you, but like on jury, I really don't like you, because you're like, oh yes, I'm gonna vote for Ashley. She's my friend.
Yeah,
and then, like, even when Pilar put in her jury vote, she's like, ready? Okay. And like that just sums up Pilar's game perfectly.
These are words.
Yeah. So I think that Ashley would have been able to articulate things in a positive way. She didn't really have any blood on her hands. Like, Godfrey's point was that he had like no blood on his hands. That would be weakened sitting next to Ashley, because she really doesn't have blood on her hands. She had her friends. They knew who her friends were, and all of her votes were justified. So I don't know. I still think that the move for Godfrey was to take Sarah to the final 2.
I agree. I'm interested to see what would have happened. Like, let's say if Ashley won this final HOH, do you think she would have taken Godfrey?
Oh, 100%. She would take Godfrey, and she would have won by a landslide. Like, Godfrey needed to win this final HOH.
Okay. Well, see, that's what I'm interested, because I'm interested. I know that you just said that more than likely Sarah would have still voted for Ashley. I do think that she wouldn't have followed through 100% with, I'm not voting for her, but it's definitely something to keep account. So let's think about it. Knowing that Jordan was the juror that was evicted, let's think about these votes. I think Ashley would have had Zach and Peely, Kevin, What else do you think? Do you think she gets the other two, and who do you think those are? I think Godfrey still gets Bruno. I think Godfrey will probably still get Bobby.
After hearing like Brittany's first interaction with the jury members, I think that Brittany would have voted for Ashley. Like she was giving a lot of credit to Ashley, saying Ashley made the smart move. I gave her a deal, and like it wasn't genuine. I was going to go after her anyway. So I think Brittany would have voted for Ashley as well. And if Sarah's on the jury, I could see Sarah giving more credit as a super fan to somebody that played the game, won vetoes, won competitions, made alliances, versus somebody that essentially played by themselves and really filled the pawn role and was playing for second place. Perceptually, what I want to happen is for, you know, an all-stars game to happen and for Godfrey to go back, completely change his style and approach, because he is a dangerous, dangerous player.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to see Godfrey play again. Let's talk about Godfrey's game, and where do you think Godfrey went wrong? Because I think we've pretty much come to the conclusion that he was fighting for second place at most tonight, especially when the dust settled. So what do you think? What went wrong with Godfrey's game?
Godfrey really didn't go wrong. He was gonna get eliminated had Cindy not come back into the game. And I think he should have played that a little bit more up when answering Cindy's questions. But whenever he survived, his role, he didn't have, like he said, he didn't have any alliances. Everybody already developed the relationships inside of the game, but he didn't let that affect him. He had like a whole bunch of like hot mess speeches, you know, like, I want your blood on these hands, Zach. But none of it really like followed through, because he really didn't need to win competitions. And I don't know, maybe if he referenced the whole like Dr. Will handbook, where if you're in the HOH, you're in the weakest power of the game, and it proves it because I'm sitting here in the final two next to Sarah, and Sarah barely won any competitions herself. I think it just, I don't know. I think Godfrey might have just went wrong with how he approached the final two and what his arguments would be. But for him to even get there is a miracle in itself, because he was completely expendable inside the house. So I actually respect Godfrey's game. I think that him making it to the end is miraculous.
You think in a different time, Godfrey could have won this game with the people he was with in the final three?
Like with the same jury members?
I guess my point is do you feel like people that are playing these games nowadays, do you feel like comp wins are definitely more important than they used to be? Because, you know, back in the day we had, like, let's think of one of the greatest old school winners. Of course, we've got Dr. Will. I think June I think Godfrey played kind of similarly to June. You know, he definitely rode the middle. He was a floater. June wasn't as colorful with her speeches, but they were definitely both put in positions where they didn't need to be winning, and in fact capitalize on other people winning and use that to their advantage. And I feel like that's kind of the game that Godfrey played, but I don't know if that's the game that people really respect anymore. You know, we've got, you know, with Janelle's and Rachel's, everyone wants to think of comp wins. Everyone wants to look at comp wins. So do you feel like that mindset is true, or do you think that had an influence on tonight's decision?
I think parts of it are true, but overall, it just depends on the person. Because if you can articulate your position correctly, more so than the person sitting next to you, then you're going to win. I mean, look at Dan and Ian in season 14. Like, Dan played an amazing game, but he didn't articulate it well. Ian played a very loyal game. The jury valued loyalty, and so he played that angle up a lot. He had a lot of friends on the jury. But to me, Dan played the better game. He just didn't have good jury management. So I don't know. It was just a lot of factors to consider. And I think it really just does depend on the person. Because if you just replace Godfrey with Dr. Will, he would have won. He would have won the game sitting next to Sarah. I don't care what anybody says, just because that's the type of person that Will is. I guess Godfrey just couldn't make the argument that the jury would respect. But I do think that if somebody played a game similar to Godfrey and they could articulate it better, then they could definitely potentially win the game. It is more challenging, though, because I do agree with you that people are valuing competitions.
Mm-hmm. I think Godfrey played a great game. I think his game it's one of those games where not really everyone that played the game understands it or sees it. it's kind of like one of those things where they're going to go home and they're going to be like, oh my God, I had no idea Godfrey was doing all this stuff. But I don't mean to take anything away from Sarah, because I still think Sarah ultimately played the better game. I think she was visibly more of a target. But it's just hard. You know, there's so many different variables, so many different factors that go into what makes a player a good Big Brother player, and you never know what people are looking for, what the jury's looking for. So I don't know. I just think it's interesting.
I think because everybody on jury faced some sort of adversity that was missing in Godfrey's game. Like, the only adversity Godfrey faced was that 5-4 eviction, and when he survived that, he basically was a GOAT for the final two. And I think that's why the jury didn't respect Godfrey's gameplay, because he didn't have to face with any adversity, and people wanted to take him to the end so that they could beat him.
Did Godfrey's chance of winning end when Pilar got evicted?
Maybe so. I mean, who knows? Maybe Pilar would have even won against Godfrey based on how the jury respects Godfrey's game.
Mm-hmm.
But I just really, Godfrey is an amazing player, and I think that he's very underrated. But maybe it'll show that maybe there is a limit to the amount of competitions you can throw nowadays with what's needed to win the respect of the jury.
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree. I would love to see Godfrey come back.
Same here.
He's really
the person that I want to see him come back the most, like even more. Yeah, because I think that he got robbed in a sense, because he played with the hand that he was dealt, and everybody else had some sort of allegiance and alliance, and I'm still impressed with the fact he was still able to make it to the end. So I'd love to see him come back into the game and see if he'll switch it up a bit.
What did you think about Ian talking to the jury?
Gosh, I mean, there's this confidence in Ian now that I haven't seen in previous while he was inside the game. I guess Will and Dan weren't available, so they got Ian. But I think it was interesting because he was throwing shade at the very beginning. He's like, so I've never been in the jury house. What's it like? Because he was a winner. That was hilarious. What'd you think?
I don't know. I made a joke on Twitter about it. I was just like, I'm just waiting for the season where we get Devin to come in for a jury roundtable.
Oh my gosh, you know how epic that would be? Because he's doing it for his daughter.
Everybody here is now a full-fledged Bomb Squad member, all right? So who are we thinking about the vote? You know, we've got the mastermind over here, but you know, that's really old. That's been done before. Let's add 2 girls to this alliance. I mean this final 2. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see, Keith.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know. I feel like it's just there. I don't know. I haven't been a fan of the way they've handled jury in a while. Like, I get it's finale night. You want everything done in the live audience, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a sourpuss.
No. You're good just the way you are. Don't ever change and always change.
Thank you so much. Thank you. But yeah, I feel like Ian didn't really do anything. He just was like, oh, how do you feel about this person? How do you feel about this person? How do you feel about this person? All right, see you guys later. Bye.
He got that screen time. And then
thank you for the check.
Out stage left.
Did you feel like Godfrey was in trouble the moment they started talking about him in the jury house, and the only people that had anything nice to say were Bruno and kind of Kevin?
It wasn't Kevin. It was just Bruno. Kevin's a fake person. Really, guys, like, he has a chance to win. So facetious. Oh,
he's like, hey, an opportunity for screen time. Allow me.
Gosh. Yeah, I thought Godfrey was a dead man walking, and it just shows the struggles that he had within the game. Like, people just wouldn't talk to him, like, seriously. No, I think that Godfrey deserves a lot of credit that he was given. But at the end of the day, my girl Sarah, she pulled it out, and she really was on the outskirts and an underdog the entire time, and it was great to see her win.
Who would you like to see in an all-star season from this season?
Actually, I want you to answer first. If you had to pick 5 all-stars from this season to bring back into the other season, who would you bring and why?
So five people from this season.
Yeah, let's Big Brother 6 this up.
Yeah. Well, the Mega Alliance. Yeah. Let's just bring the entire Diaper Alliance back. No, obviously I'm joking. Well, let me ask you this. Do you want me to say who I would like to see come back or who I think would come back? Because those are two different things.
I want you to have the job of casting ink.
Okay,
and
so
pick
it's my call.
It's your call completely
Okay.
who's going to be returning.
Okay, because I feel like there are a few people that they will probably bring back that I don't really think deserve to come back. So first of all, I'm gonna give it one to Godfrey. I would love to see him play again, see how that would work. I also want to give. I would like to see Jordan play again, even though I think he made a ton of mistakes. I think he's one of those people that goes into the house and he just loses it. And I think I would like to see him come back with the experience already under his belt. He's kind of got all those nerves come back. It's kind of like life mistakes. It's one of those things you'll never do again. And I feel like that's kind of what he would do with his game. I mean, he made such blatant mistakes. He was called a horrible player. He's not going to do that again. And I think he's someone who definitely would have a good shot. So I'd give him another chance.
We all saw what Mike Boogie did with his second chance. Just throwing that out there.
Right. Let's get Neha a second chance. I'd like to see her come back. I think that's it from pre-jury. I wouldn't give Cindy another chance. So I've got 2 more spots left. I feel like I need. I want to throw in a girl. Well, I just threw in Neha. Sorry, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but
you're fine. This is an important decision. This will only affect who represents season 3 and All Stars. It's very, very, very important.
That's very. You know what? It's very true. Let's give Bruno another shot. I think Bruno had a really good game. I think the twist screwed him over. I would have loved to see how this game shook out without the coup de Brit. I think he definitely could have made his way to the end, so I think he deserves another chance. And my last spot, I want to give to Brittany because I think a lot of people
because I'm here. No. That's all you have to say because I'm here.
No, I think a lot of people underestimate her in the game. I would like for her to come back in a season with not that many twists because I would want her to fight the argument that she only did as well as she did because of the twists that that she got into. So I think that would be my 5. It would be Jordan, Bruno, Godfrey, Brittany, and Neha. What about you?
Well, my first spot definitely goes to Sarah. I think in All Stars, you definitely need winners to come back and defend their title. And I actually think Sarah could definitely Sandra Diaz twine and win twice just because of how awful she is in competitions. So I want to see Sarah come back. I want her to compete and see how she'll fare with a lot of the new blood that occurs inside the game. Number 2, I definitely have to give it to Brittany. They're just such a great alliance. Brittany was fantastic this entire season. I loved watching her play. She's such a fan favorite. You heard the studio audience whenever Brittany came in to lock their vote. She's loved by Canada. Bring her back. We need the ratings. Number 3, I'm going to give it to Bruno. I do think that Bruno represents a completely different aspect of the game. He was kind of screwed over by a twist. He was taken out way too early, and I think that Bruno would have made it even further had it not been for those veto necklaces around Brittany's neck. And he was a very good sport on the way out. He's a big fan of the game. I think he deserves a second shot. The next person that I think deserves to come back in the game is Godfrey. I think his gameplay was completely underrated. I would love for him to come back guns blazing, maybe win competitions at the beginning, spice up his strategy a little bit in that sense, because he is capable of winning competitions, and I would love to see when he has to make difficult decisions and how he'll navigate it that sense. And the final spot, you might be surprised by this, is Kevin, because I think Kevin is a great player because he knows how to win competitions. He's super threatening, very charismatic, super fake. I can't stand him, but I think that he's a pretty good Big Brother player. He's not really fooled easily, and if he finds himself to be in a minority position, he could be very, very influential and entertaining to watch. So I think those would be my 5.
Yeah, I was debating on giving Kevin another spot, and what prevented me from doing it was just like I just felt like I got enough of Kevin this season. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. I'm the one that was bitching and complaining about Kevin this
Like
entire game.
I feel like if Kevin came back, it'd be the Kevin show again. Like I don't know. It'd be interested to see how he played with a lot more bigger fish. So that would be interesting because I think he's a great competitor. I don't know. I just don't know if I want to see him again, you know?
Yeah, I smell what you're stepping in.
So now that the season's over, wrapped up, everything, all in all, from a scale of 1 to 10, where do you rate this season?
I really, really enjoyed the season. I would give it a 9.5, 9.587, something along those lines. Very, very high. Even though I'm a very big super fan and I like watched every single season and know what happened each week, like this season, I was thoroughly entertained from week 1 all the way to jury. Like I think the only time I might have lost interest a little bit might have been at Final 3, like when it was Godfrey, Sarah, and Ashley. I'm like, okay, but then there's only like 1 week left. So for me, this season was very, very entertaining. I think the power shifted all the time. The Diapers Alliance, even though they were super influential, they were in the minority. There was only 4 of them. JP got eliminated, and they needed to win all the HOHs to balance the powers, and they did. And so, in a sense, they were a minority, and they deserved to make it as far as they did. I just love the tug and pull that happened within the game because you can only get rid of 1 person each week. So for me, I really like this season. Sure, the twists were overbearing a lot of the times and discredited certain people like Brittany, but I think that you also have to work with the twist and expect the unexpected. And like I said, the biggest lesson learned from this season is never make somebody the pawn figure, especially someone as talented as Brittany. Big fan of Brittany. So glad she came inside the game.
Me too. I really like this season. I did have my, I'm still not a big fan of the amount of twists that they had, but at the end of the day, it's their show. They want to do what they want with it. And if that's the kind of game that people want to see, then more power to them. But yeah, I think there were a lot of power shifts, a lot of good characters, definitely some entertaining moments. And so, honestly, I know that you haven't seen the previous 2 Canada seasons. I unfortunately would have to put this at the bottom of the 3. But that's not to say that it's because it's a bad season. It's just because I love the first 2 seasons of Big Brother Canada. I feel they were great cast, but all in all, I still really enjoyed this season. And you know what? I really enjoyed talking about this season with you, Keith.
No, thank you, Jacob. It really meant a lot to talk about this 3 nights a week, hear our perspectives, and just listen to ourselves after we were done recording.
You know I'm a big fan of listening to ourselves over and over and over again. But guess what, Keith? Just because this is the end of Big Brother Canada 3 does not mean this is the end of Big Brother Basics.
What do you mean, Jacob?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Because it will not be long until we get to start talking about Big Brother 17. Ooh. I'm so excited. I'm not sure when the cast will be announced, but as soon as it is, you can definitely expect us and our lovely co-host Aaron to be breaking down the basics of this new cast, and we'll also be doing another Big Brother Basics fantasy draft. Our reigning champ, he's busy right now spending his millions and millions of dollars from last season, but I'm excited to get that going again, and I'm just excited to talk about another season Big Brother. I'm always ready to talk about Big Brother, Keith.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic season. Thank you for talking, and thank you for having me. It means a lot.
Of course. I mean, it's your show too, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. It's great being here.
All right. Well, thank you so much for everyone that has watched us during this season. We love even just hearing about it from one person to a few. It totally we love it. Like, we really appreciate it. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you like us on Facebook at Big Brother Basics and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so you can always go back and just relive these fond Big Brother Basic memories that we've all shared. So yeah, and also make sure you keep an eye out for the Big Brother 17 cast reveal, because we will be releasing content as soon as that information comes out. Anything else you'd like to say, Keith?
No, let's wrap it up like a burrito.
Wrap it up. So thank you guys for watching so much. And remember, stay basic.
Stay basic.
Bye.
Bye.